F sat on the floor of her bedroom, clutching a box of baby booties wrapped in delicate pink tissue paper. The fan above her rotated lazily, slicing through the silence like a blade through fabric. Her eyes stung, but no tears came, not anymore. She had cried herself dry over the years. The booties were 10 years old. Still new. Still waiting. She had bought them after their second anniversary, convinced the good news was only a few weeks away. Back then, a kin would touch her stomach and joke, "Our baby will come soon, oh! I can already hear the little feet running around this house." They laughed. They dreamed. And they waited. Years passed. The laughter faded. The dreams twisted into nightmares. Month after month, she faced a red stain on her underwear like a monthly death certificate. They tried everything. Her pastor advised 7 days dry fasting. Her mother-in-law handed her a calabash of herbs and a bottle of anointing oil she swore came from Jerusalem. Friends dragged her to fertility seminars and miracle crusades. F went to hospitals too, LUTH, Havana, even a pricey private clinic in Lekki that charged in dollars. The diagnosis was vague. Unexplained infertility. Her womb looked fine. Atkins' sperm swam like Olympic champions. But no pregnancy came. Their 5th IVF cycle was hell. The hormones made her bloated and angry. She screamed at a kin for breathing too loudly. She wept watching diapers ads. Her abdomen was a pin cushion. After the embryo transfer, she stayed flat on her back for 2 full weeks. No food, no movement, just prayer and whispered psalms. When her period came, she didn't cry. She just stared blankly at the blood, stood up, showered, and cooked into me. A kin came home late that day. He didn't ask for food. He didn't talk. He just sat in front of the TV, volume high, face blank. That night, they didn't sleep in the same room. The silence between them had grown into a third presence in their home. It breathed and ate with them. She knew the 6th time would be the last. They had spent over 9 million Nigerian nairas already. They had sold the second car. A kin had borrowed from his cooperative. F had taken a loan using her thriving salon as collateral. This time, she did something even she couldn't believe. She sold the house her father left her. That house was her inheritance, her pride. She had grown up in it, watched her mother make jollof rice in that tiny kitchen, laughed with her sisters on the porch during NEPA outages. Selling it felt like selling her soul. But she was desperate. She was 42. The doctor said her eggs were aging. That was the term they used, like she was a carton of peak milk. They went ahead with the 6th IVF. This time, it was at a state-of-the-art clinic in Victoria Island. She lived like glass. No stress. No lifting. No arguments. Every night she anointed her belly and prayed, "God, let this womb carry life. Let me not die barren. Let me not be mocked." The 2-week wait after the transfer was the longest of her life. Her heart raced every time she peed, looking for signs. She had dreams, some where she held twins, others where blood poured from her. When the day finally came, she held the pregnancy test with shaking hands. Negative. She stared at the single line until her vision blurred. Then she screamed. Loud. Raw. Animalistic. It wasn't just pain, it was rage, loss, emptiness. Akin tried to hold her, but she pushed him away. "I'm tired," she said. Tired of hope. Tired of disappointment. Tired of being a project. That night he packed a bag. "I need space, F." She didn't argue. She didn't beg. He walked out. And for the first time in 14 years, F was truly alone. No husband. No child. No house. No money. Just a box of pink booties, and a heart full of what-ifs. The silence in F's new apartment was a different kind of loud. Gone were the creaking doors and familiar smells of her father's old house. She now lived in a cramped one-bedroom flat in the outskirts of Aja, where the walls sweated during the day and mosquitoes hummed lullabies at night. There was no salon. She'd shut it down when the loan sharks started circling like vultures. Her employees had left, understandably. Life didn't pause because your womb betrayed you. She started doing home service braiding just to survive. Sometimes it was 2,000 Nigerian nairas. Sometimes 500 Nigerian nairas. She'd smile, bend, twist, and plait, even with her back aching and her heart hollow. Every crying baby or pregnant client felt like a bullet to her soul. But she endured. Social media didn't help. Everyone she knew was posting baby bump pictures or birthday shoots for their one-year-olds. "My sunshine, my answered prayer, my testimony," they wrote. F stopped scrolling. She muted everyone who had ever posted anything with the hashtag mama of two or hashtag IVF worked. Meanwhile, Akin? He vanished like a dropped call during Nipah outage. His number stopped going through. Friends said they saw him once in Acacia with a light-skinned woman and a baby in a stroller. F didn't ask questions. She didn't want answers. Church became unbearable. The usher smiled too much. The pastor's wife kept hinting during women's fellowship. "Your womb must not be barren, sisters. Be fruitful and multiply." One Sunday, the preacher even said, "If you've done IVF 5 times and it didn't work, maybe it's not God's plan." That was the day F walked out mid-sermon, and never returned. She found solace in strange places. A widow in her compound introduced her to early morning walks. They strolled in silence, past traders setting up, past empty beer parlors and scattered sachets of pure water. The widow would sometimes say things like, "I lost 4 children. But I still laugh. You should too." F didn't laugh, but she did listen. One day, on one of their walks, they passed by a dingy children's home. The sign was rusted, and the gate hung crooked. But what caught F's eye was the sound. Laughter. Unrestrained. Dozens of children screaming with joy, chasing each other barefoot across a dusty compound. One small boy noticed her and waved. F waved back. And something cracked inside her. That night, she cried differently. Not with rage, but with release. The next morning, she walked back alone. Knocked on the rusty gate. A tired-looking woman opened it. "You again? What do you want?" "I want to help," F said. "Can I volunteer?" The woman eyed her suspiciously. "We don't have money to pay you, oh. I didn't ask for pay. I just want to be here." And that was how it started. F began folding baby clothes, washing plates, mending toys. The children called her Auntie. She braided hair, told stories, wiped tears, and laughed, real laughter. The kind that echoes from deep inside. One night, a little girl named Zara crawled into her lap and slept off, thumb in mouth. F didn't move for hours. She just held the child and cried. Not from pain this time, but from something unfamiliar. Peace. Rain came with a vengeance that year, the kind that floods gutters, humbles Kiki drivers, and forces Lagosians to whisper apologies to their ancestors. The children's home leaked in 6 places, and F found herself balancing buckets like it was choreography. But despite the chaos, she was happier than she'd been in years. Her mornings started with laughter. Tiny hands pulling at her wrapper. Small voices screaming, "Auntie! Come and see what I drew!" Evenings ended with her humming lullabies, brushing teeth, or chasing kids to bed with threats of "no biscuit tomorrow." It was healing. Unexpected. Free. One Thursday afternoon, during nap time, the matron, Madame Igioma, walked in with a man F didn't recognize. Tall, brown-skinned, beard neatly trimmed, glasses perched on his nose. He looked like someone who quoted Chinua Achebe for fun. F. Meet Dr. Malachi Nwosu, she said. He runs a pediatric nonprofit. They help homes like ours with medical checkups and school scholarships. F nodded. Thank you, sir. Malachi smiled. Madam, it's me who should be thanking you. I've heard your name 3 times in 5 minutes. These kids talk about you like you're Superwoman. F chuckled. I just braid hair and chase them into bath water. Not that deep. But Malachi saw it. That hidden spark in her eyes, the kind of light born only from walking through fire. He began visiting more often. He'd bring fruit, first aid kits, educational games. Sometimes, books he insisted children should read even if they chew the pages more than read them. F found herself looking forward to those visits. One day, she found a storybook tucked under her handbag. Inside was a note. I see you. Not for what you lost, but for what you've given. Let's have coffee sometime. F stared at the note for hours. It had been years since someone saw her beyond her womb. Beyond the ache. Beyond the story she kept trying to end. She said yes. They met at a small cafe by the lagoon. The kind of place where time slowed, and the air smelt like cinnamon and possibility. They talked about everything. Childhoods, pain, parents, broken dreams. He didn't flinch when she told him about her IVF battles. He didn't pity her. He simply listened. Children aren't only born from us, he said. Sometimes we birth them through love. That night, something changed. The rain returned. But this time, it didn't feel like punishment. It felt like cleansing. Over the next few months, Malachi became a constant. He fixed leaking roofs, played football with the boys, painted murals with the girls, and walked F home with her tired feet dragging beside his. But F was afraid. Afraid of starting again. Afraid that joy would betray her again. That life would dangle hope only to snatch it midair. Then, one evening Zara, the same little girl who once slept in her arms, fell sick. She had a high fever and convulsed violently. F panicked. They rushed her to the general hospital, where F refused to leave her side for 2 full nights. She fed her, bathed her, stayed awake humming lullabies until Zara stabilized. When the doctor finally said she could go home, Zara clutched F's hand tightly and whispered, "Don't leave me. Please, Mummy." F froze. It wasn't planned. It wasn't forced. It was simply right. Later that night, Malachi found her crying again. But this time, she wasn't broken. She was reborn. "I want to adopt her," she whispered. "I'm ready." He nodded, knelt beside her, and held her hand. "Then let's bring her home." Zara's adoption papers took 6 months to finalize. 6 long, stressful months filled with government red tape, social welfare visits, and interviews that felt more intrusive than heart surgery. But F faced them with fire in her belly. This wasn't IVF. This wasn't science. This was her soul speaking. And this time, she wasn't afraid. When the final certificate was handed to her, she held it like a miracle. Like a passport into a future she'd never imagined possible. She looked at the little girl by her side, smile missing 3 front teeth, skin glistening with Vaseline, hair packed into stubborn puffs, and whispered, "You're mine. You've always been mine." Zara hugged her tightly. "I told God I wanted a mummy who can braid my hair and cook jollof rice and sing me to sleep. He gave me you." That night, they danced in their small apartment, barefoot on the tiled floor, to Asa's beautiful imperfection. F laughed like a woman drunk on joy, twirling her daughter in the air, tears mingling with mascara she didn't even care to wipe. And Malachi? He never stopped showing up. Not once. He taught Zara how to ride a bicycle, came over every Sunday with groceries, and never pressured F. One Saturday afternoon, while Zara napped, he took F's hand. I don't want to replace anything you've lost. I just want to walk with you in everything you've found. Will you let me? She didn't answer. She just kissed him. 2 years later, F stood in front of a small congregation at the children's home. She was no longer a volunteer. She was now the director. The governor's wife had donated a new building after seeing a viral video of her singing with the children under a leaking roof. F had become the face of nurturing motherhood without biology. She looked radiant in her wine-colored lace dress. Zara sat in the front row beside Malachi, now her stepfather, clapping with all the other kids. F took a deep breath, stepped up to the podium, and began. They say if you cry long enough, your tears will run dry. But I've learned that sometimes, it's when you're completely empty that God begins His work. I spent all I had trying to create life in a lab. I lost my money, my marriage, my pride, and almost my mind. But life had another plan. It gave me a daughter not from my womb, but from my heart. And just when I thought the story was over, it gave me a son. Gasps rippled through the hall. F smiled and placed her hand gently on her slightly rounded belly. Yes. After years of infertility, after 3 failed IVFs, after doctors gave up and her womb was declared non-functional, she had conceived naturally. No drugs, no labs, no science, just grace. Zara ran up and hugged her, whispering, So I get to be a big sister now? F nodded, tears flowing freely. Yes, baby. You do. The hall erupted in applause, but F didn't hear any of it. In that moment, all she heard was the echo of her own heartbeat, strong, steady, and finally full.